Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you. My name is Charles Dickens, and I'd like to read for you today from my new novel, A Christmas Carol. To begin with, Molly was dead. There's no doubt about that. Old Molly was as dead as a doornail. I don't mean to say that I know of my own knowledge just what there is particularly dead about a doornail. I might have been inclined myself to regard a coffin nail as perhaps the deadest piece of ironmongery in the trade. But the wisdom of our ancestors is in the simile, and my unhallowed hands shall not disturb it. There is no doubt that Molly was dead. This must be distinctly understood, or nothing wonderful can come of the tale that I am about to relate. Why, if we were not perfectly convinced that Hamlet's father died before the play began, there would be nothing more remarkable in his taking a stroll at night in an easterly wind upon his own ramparts than there would be in any other middle-aged gentleman rashly turning out after dark in a breezy spot. Say, St. Paul's Churchyard, for instance. Scrooge knew he was dead. Of course he did. Had been dead for 7 years. Scrooge and he had been partners for, I don't know how many years. But Scrooge never painted out old Molly's name in the sign above the door. There it stood, years afterwards, above the warehouse door. Scrooge and Molly. The firm was known as Scrooge and Molly. Now, some people new to the business called Scrooge Scrooge, and some Molly. But he answered to both names. Now, Scrooge was a squeezing, scraping, grasping, wrenching, clutching, covetous old sinner, and solitary as an oyster. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shriveled his cheek, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red, his thin lips blue, and spoke out shrewdly in his grating voice. He carried his own low temperature about with him always, and didn't thought 1 degree at Christmas time. Nobody ever stopped him on the streets to say, with gladsome looks, "My dear Scrooge, how are you? When will you come to see me?" But Scrooge did not care. Now, enough of the background. To the story. Once upon a time, of all the good days of the year, 'twas Christmas Eve. Old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. The city clocks had only just gone 3, but it was quite dark already. It was cold, bleak, biting weather. Now Scrooge had a very small fire, but the clerk's fire was so very much smaller that it seemed like 1 coal. Wherefore, the clerk put on his comforter and tried to warm himself at the candle. Now, on this day, into this dismal place, the cheerful voice of Scrooge's nephew rang out,